All right. You got Jordan Scott here with Coach Twan Golliday. Wanted to catch up with him mainly to go over recruiting needs for the Cyclones. Coming off a tough loss at AT&T Stadium, just wanted to catch up with the coach. Appreciate you joining me, Coach. And just wanted to ask you a couple questions. But how's everything going today?
Everything's good, man. Everything's beautiful.
Yeah, Patriots coming off a tough one. My Dolphins look pretty good, though. Other than that, yeah.
Dolphins dead in the water, man.
Yeah, got two wins this weekend, so it was a good weekend. But I want to start off. I know opposing coach got to go live, give his thoughts on the game. Do you have any comments on the championship, the way it went down? Anything positive or negative that you wanted to make as far as comments on the game?
Yeah. As far as the game goes, we'll leave the extracurricular off for this one. But I feel like we were prepared. We had a good game plan in place, offensively and defensively. I would say that at the moment probably got a little too big for some people, and I mean it happens. I mean, not many people have played on NFL dome, right? So that kind of comes with the territory. So not overly concerned with that. It definitely did have an effect on some performances. Game plan wise, I think we were solid. I think those drives kind of show that. A couple of miscues here and there, offensively, defensively, special teams, just a couple of miscues, and that the ball bounces left instead of right, and we're talking about a totally different game. So I wasn't too upset with that. I was kind of disappointed in the lack of performance. But that kind of just comes with it being a big game. I think people blew it up a little bit bigger than it probably should have been. And I mean, the nerves just get to you at some point, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I can say I try not to look up in the stands or look at the board up top, just kind of focusing on the field. That was one thing that I, like, after the game had to think about. Wow, I had to take it all in where we were at and, the stadium and all that. So appreciate you giving us those comments. And what's the one takeaway going into the season that you took from the game? Obviously, the moment was big. You got to go into 2022 looking to get back to the same spot. What's that one thing that's going to get us over the hump next year? That'll be the difference.
I would say experience. I think that's the one thing that was lacking. I think Cyclones as an organization have been to one national championship prior to this. I don't think anybody on our team, on our current roster, actually played in a national championship. So I think that experience will play a big factor. I mean, it's kind of the reason why these NFL teams and NBA teams, sign these old vets who probably aren't going to play, because it kind of just helps to have that experience and leadership for those big moments. So
100%. And yeah, if go back next year, at least everyone, on the team is returning, and obviously played a handful of big games this year. So everybody can lean on that experience. So moving into next year, I saw the schedule came out, a lot of different teams that are on the schedule. As far as recruiting, right? That's where I come into play.
right.
What positions are the Cyclones must have? What positions are we set on? Where is your focus for recruiting? So I can start to help you and guys can start to help you, put the pieces together moving into next year.
I would say, obviously, offensive line is always huge. Games are won in the trenches. I mean, we've learned that since JFL. No quarterback, despite who it is going to be good thrown off of his back, right? I mean, we saw what happened in the Super Bowl last year with Patrick Mahomes. You don't have that protection up front. It ain't a whole lot you can do as a quarterback. So quarterback can't get the ball out, what does having a stud receiver, what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
So
I don't know if everybody knows the deal with O-line. Is it still, if they got college film, they'll be able to get help on dues? Is that still that's how it was last year. You know if that'll be a thing going forward?
Um, it was discussed. I think that'll probably be another thing going into this year. Probably be the same. College linemen get a discounted rate. I mean, obviously because, like I said, those guys are the lifeblood of the team. They kind of make things go. So if quarterback can't throw the ball, doesn't matter who's at quarterback, doesn't matter who's at wide receiver. Running backs getting tackled in the backfield, doesn't matter who's at running back. So, yeah, obviously want to start with the offensive line.
As long as you're willing to practice too, we got a offensive line coach. If you're big and strong, Rob can show you the way. But honestly, we need college linemen, and Cyclones will do everything they can to get you on the team. So definitely can agree with that from a quarterback standpoint. What about, I saw Q Williams coming over. How are you going to fit him in with that defense? Is he going to be complimenting Smiley? What are your plans to use him next year?
So he's a very gifted athlete, right? And he's extremely smart. It's going to depend on how fast he can process the information, right? Because it gets a bit complex on the defense at times. It'll seem simple, but obviously I give you different looks. I give you so many different looks from the same coverage that you don't know exactly what you're seeing. You start second guessing yourself. So it's going to depend on how fast he can actually pick that up mentally. I don't have any questions about his work ethic. He's a great player. Just very, very instinctive on the field. I mean, we played him, 3 times? I believe played him 3 times, and he's kind of all over the field. And that was from playing a safety. What was he playing? Free safety? He's kind of roaming the field and doesn't mind getting into the box. So anytime you can add a player like that, it definitely helps your team. So
yeah, I know. Just his interceptions last year, I think he had like 8, 9. Definitely somebody I had to know where he was when we played against him. But our focus all season was winning that turnover differential. So you add him on the defense with the offense that already, hopefully doesn't turn the ball over. I think that looks really great. And also in the championship, right, that was my one, critique on the offense was too many turnovers. We had special teams turnovers, and, it really made a difference. So our defense was able to get some turnovers, keep us in the game. And, that is how we got to the championship. And I would say as a quarterback, this is a defensive team, and, turnovers, if you don't turn the ball over, we usually win the game. So that's kind of my experience with the Cyclones. All right, so we talked about recruiting a little bit. As far as schedule for next year, that's really the last thing I wanted to touch on. Just came out. Who are you excited to play, first of all? What games do you have circled on the schedule? And then where are we leaving off with the Pipples? I know, that used to be a nice rivalry. What's the last of the conversation with that? Are we going to be able to get that on the books?
So the game I'm looking most forward to probably would be the First City Cavalry game. Those have always been good games. Every game, what we played, 5 games? I think we've played them 5 times. Every game has been within, 10 points. Every game. So that right there. It's always a fun game. Lots of little chitter chatter before the games on social media. No, it's all fun, poking fun at each other, in a friendly way. Yeah, those games are always good games. I think they beat us the first 2 times. They beat us like 14-7, and then 33-30. They kicked a field goal in overtime to beat us, and then in the championship playoffs, we beat them. Last year we beat them, and obviously we beat them for the championship. So those games are always fun. As far as what games I have circled, I don't think I really have any games circled. We've been lucky enough to get a schedule where we don't play the same team twice. We play lots of different teams in the league, so we get everybody in. So I don't have to play anybody twice. No Cougars twice, no Lions twice, Eagles twice, none of that. So that was a shock to me, but it's welcome. I like the fact that I'm not playing the same team twice. Get a look at everybody.
I think the league did a good job making that happen because it's a brand new team every week. You know, we played the Vipers 3 times, so you got multiple looks at them. It'll be a completely different season. I know we also have to get through the cavalry to get to the championship. So who do you think will come off the other side? Just looking at the schedule, who do you think you're going to see?
So actually, the alignment was kind of changed up, and the cavalry ended up back on the other side.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so looks like we'll probably be seeing them in the championship. Just my guess off tops. I know the Panthers have done a lot of recruiting in KC. They're trying to change the culture there, get it back to what they used to be. They used to be pretty good team. So I know Mr. Ross trying to get that back. But I'd say if I were a betting man, I'd probably bet on the Cavs to make it back.
Yep. Yeah, they were definitely playing chess with us. You know, I know we had a slow start in that game and pretty much made adjustments at halftime. That was kind of what it came down to. So right. I had fun playing with them. They were able to keep it football, right? I hate when things get too physical. And then the other thing with the league is I appreciate that the owner ended up coming to our toy drive. Seems like a great guy, and you know, added some good teams to the league, which these leagues come and go, right? We've been in a handful of leagues, so it'll be nice to get some stability. So why don't we end with the toy drive? So Cyclones just did something to give back. What ended up coming out of that? And, you know, what was the goal there? I know we had tried to raise some money for a family, but can you talk on that? And then we can kind of end it there.
Yeah. Real quick. So the pit bull situation, I am still actively trying to make that happen. Been in talks with a couple of their players. Obviously, they don't make the decisions, but been in talks with a couple of their players and talked to Massey briefly a few times. They're supposed to get their schedule sometime in January, and we're going to see if that because obviously we have, you know, 2 bye weeks for holidays, and then our actual bye week kind of falls, I think, right before the 4th of July weekend bye. So, yeah, I'm trying to see if we can get that game scheduled for you.
One thing definitely was it would have been nice to have a game after the championship before we went down to the Nationals too. You know, if you do win that league, we needed a game, and that's kind of why you saw some of that rust coming off, because guys were 3 months without a game. So yeah, in the future, hopefully, you know, whoever wins the league, you want to have a game for sure in between to stay football ready. So, and it was new guys, right? First time playing with guys, so that was a different thing for them.
Well, we had like maybe 5 guys, 6 new guys, something like that. Just cover.
Nothing crazy, but you know, just kind of different pieces, and you know, just didn't even get one scrimmage, nothing together. So just kind of went out there and played.
Yeah, that was kind of why we were pushing to play the Stockman, but you know, they had their situations or whatever they had going on. The toy drive.
Yep. So toy drive. I feel like
we raised some money. Took a lot of donations from different sponsors and outside, you know, guys outside of the football team, and some guys within the football team collected a lot of gifts. I'm still receiving boxes to my house right now for this toy drive. So just kind of just looking for a chance to give back. You know, we expect a lot from the community. You know, show up to our games, you know, support us, you know, share our flyers on Facebook, things of that nature. So it was good to be able to give back to them, to give back to the community, help someone who really needs it, you know. Yeah. So big shout out to Tyler from Hot Shots too for hooking us up with that space, that event space at Hot Shots. So appreciate that.
Might as well just call that Cyclones area. That's where we did our ring ceremony and everything. So yeah, I was proud that you guys put that together. And I feel like semi-pro, you know, people don't really understand what it is. So, you know, we had 200-300 fans at some games, traveled down to Dallas. We all really appreciated that. And you know, in the future, Cyclones want to help with a lot of different stuffs and giving back to the community, so we can be here for a while. But
Right.
take your time, Coach. And if anyone wants to get on the team, you can hit me up, you can hit Twan up, and ask any questions you want to. But definitely need to be willing to come to practice. And you know, this is a guy that you definitely want to be playing for. I can say that I came back just to play this year, right? So I can say that firsthand. And this guy, you know, he does what he says he's going to do. And, you know, if you want to have fun playing football and win games, this is the place to be. So good luck this season, Coach, and appreciate you spending the time.
All right, man.